Hello, everyone. This is Adam with psychedelicinvest.com, and I hope you guys are all having an amazing week so far, because I know I am. In today's episode of Weekly Extractions, we're going to be going over some of the highlights coming out of the psychedelic sector this week. I will give you guys my perspectives around them, and yeah, we'll just have a small conversation. I hope you guys appreciate my new microphone setup. The sound quality should be much better now. So thank you guys for bearing with me up until getting to this point, and hopefully moving forward we will have zero sound issues. So yeah, let's get to this episode. We're already starting off strong with me mispronouncing basic English words. All right, the first piece of news coming out of the Compass Pathways camp. So Compass announces that Kabir Nath is going to be the new CEO. So I love this for Compass. Kabir Nath has a extremely decorated resume when it comes to working within biotech. He's coming from Otsuka Pharmaceuticals. Otsuka Pharmaceuticals. And yeah, I think so. Right now, Cybin's basically getting everything ready for what they're anticipating to be FDA approval for their formulation of psilocybin. So this could be them gearing up for that last push into FDA approval when that happens. So yeah, I like this move for Compass. I can't criticize it much at all. I think it's a good move. And congratulations to Kabir. So yeah, going to be exciting things coming out of Compass in the next coming years. I'm very excited to be following this company. All right. And next we have this article I found talking about Gilgamesh Pharmaceuticals. So the reason I selected this one is because, number one, I just don't think there's enough talk about Gilgamesh Pharmaceuticals. I understand that they're a private company, but in terms of the work they're doing some of the most interesting work out of any of the psychedelic companies. So I wanted to just highlight this article because I want to talk about Gilgamesh Pharmaceuticals. And I think you guys should be excited to hear about them. So I'm just going to read to you guys what Gilgamesh has going on in terms of their pipeline. So I'm going to read it verbatim from here. So Gilgamesh's current portfolio includes 4 programs with composition of matter, intellectual property, IP coverage. So these all have patents. GM-1020 is a small molecule orally active antagonist of the N-methyl D-aspartate, NMDA receptor that is under development for depression and other indications. Preclinical studies demonstrate that GM-1020 retains the rapid and robust efficacy of ketamine while avoiding the first-pass metabolism, which allows for convenient oral administration and attenuated dissociative side effects relative to those of ketamine and S-ketamine at the therapeutic dosage. So I like to hear that. The work that you're going to see coming out of Gilgamesh Pharmaceuticals is going to be pretty much top-notch, right up there with Atai. And yeah, they're working on their formulation of ketamine that is due to that will skip first pass digestion. And then they say together these properties may make GM-1020 suitable for at-home use, reducing the burden of treatment and increasing compliance. So GM-1020 is expected to enter clinical trials before the end of 2022. So they're saying it's just going to be their formulation of ketamine will have a higher safety profile, and they're trying to tackle the whole at-home use of ketamine because there is a really significant amount of revenue that can be made by penetrating that at-home market for ketamine specifically. So that's actually very exciting, and I'll go on to read. Gilgamesh's advanced programs target the 5-HT2A receptor, which is the primary target of classic psychedelics. GM-2505 is a short-acting 5-HT2A receptor agonist, 5-HT releaser, that is being developed for the treatment of depression, anxiety, and the augmentation of psychotherapy. Like classic psychedelics, GM-2505 produces dramatic changes in perception, emotion, and cognition. However, these effects have a much shorter duration than those of psilocybin, resulting in patients spending less time in therapist supervised office visits. GM-2505 will enter clinical trials this year. So they're basically saying what I constantly tell you guys is the psychedelics that are going to have the highest ceiling for therapeutic benefits, or what these companies are going to be working on to try and get to market, are shorter acting psychedelics. And here we have Gilgamesh exemplifying this perfectly. So basically, GM 25005 produces dramatic changes of perception, emotion, and cognition. However, these effects have a much shorter duration than those of psilocybin. So I want to find out this. It's likely a psilocybin analog. It could possibly be a type of tryptamine. I really would want to hear about this, but yeah, we're going to see a lot of these companies now who are going to be talking about bringing new psychedelics to market. Many of them are going to be shorter acting psychedelics, and that's very exciting. And then to kind of wrap things up here, we have a related program, GM-200X, is assessing non-hallucinogenic 5-HT2A receptor agonists for the treatment of depression and anxiety. So similarly to Atai, they are also branching out towards non-psychedelic molecules or drugs for the treatment of depression and anxiety. So it's very much in line with what Atai is doing. Preclinical evidence suggests that these compounds lack the hallucinogenic effects of classical psychedelics while retaining their therapeutic benefits, so neuroplasticity and neuroregenerative traits, most likely, making them safer and suitable for home administration and free of potential for misuse associated with classic psychedelics. So once again, this is an extremely important problem that Gilgamesh is trying to tackle. They're basically like, we want to give everyone all the therapeutic benefits of psychedelics, but without the risks that come with the hallucinogenic experience. So at higher doses of certain psychedelics, or if a psychedelic trip goes bad, it's like there's a lot of things that we have to take into account here, or like things that can go wrong. So they're trying to minimize that margin for error by taking out some of the psychedelic experiences from these, while also maintaining the therapeutic benefits. So I think that's really, really, really interesting. I like the work. I'm a big fan of Gilgamesh. I like the work they're doing. The final advanced program, GM-300X, is focused on novel analogs of ibogaine. So this is why I was excited to read about this, because I know many of you in the psychedelic community are very excited about ibogaine and its efficacy for treating addiction. I also am super excited and bullish about ibogaine in general. GM-300X is a focus on novel analogs of ibogaine, which is naturally occurring plant-derived atypical psychoactive compound that has shown anecdotal promises in the treatment of substance abuse. Ibogaine has been reported to dramatically reduce cravings for opiates for a period of months after a single administration. However, it has also been linked to QT prolongation and increased risks of cardiac arrhythmia. The GM-300X series of molecules, which targets the K-opioid receptor, KOR, among others, but appears to lack ibogaine's adverse cardiac effects. So essentially, they're like, hey, we managed to our formulation of ibogaine will have a higher safety profile than traditional ibogaine. So that's lovely. Are being developed to help combat the epidemic of substance use disorders. Lead optimization of GM-300X molecules is currently underway, with candidate nomination expected this year. So this is like, so you get a brief snapshot of Gilgamesh's, of what they're trying to do in their pipeline. I really, really would urge people who are in this psychedelic investing space to take a hard look at Gilgamesh. In my opinion, aside from Atai, we have Gilgamesh and Beckley Psytech, like, are two very under the radar companies that I really like. GH Research as well. All companies that should be looked at. Obviously, some of them are private, so you can't invest in them unless you are going to be an early investor. But once again, it's good to check out these companies, see what competition is out there for the publicly traded companies you're investing in. Gilgamesh is going to be a big player in this game, and I'm very excited for the work that they will do and how they're going to progress this whole psychedelic movement through that work. And last we have Field Trip. All right, everyone. And last but not least, we have Field Trip announces first dosings in phase 1 clinical study of FT-104. And now we have a clearer idea of what a FT-104 is. It is 4-OH-DIPT. So this is why when in my last video I mentioned the book Tickle to you guys, Tickal, or however one wants to pronounce it. But basically the works of Alexander and Anne Shulgin, because something like 4-OH-DIPT, you can read about it in that book. It's 4-HO-DIPT. This is actually a research chemical that I've done many times before in my life, so I can actually speak about it from my own anecdotal perspective. And also you can hear about Alexander Shulgin talking about his experience taking DIPT as well. So this is the person who had like the foundational work for tryptamines. So it's really interesting hearing it from him. Highly recommend checking that out. But so the reason I brought this up, and I also intentionally mentioned Gilgamesh before, because I keep hammering home regarding like these shorter acting psychedelics and where I see the psychedelic landscape going. And this is kind of more confirmation bias for me as well. So like 4-OH-DIPT is a very short psychedelic experience. So I want to say like anecdotally can be between 3 and 4 periods. It's 3 and 4 hours. It starts very rapidly. It peaks and then you're kind of out of it just as quick. It's a pretty cool, enjoyable psychedelic that does have therapeutic benefits that come with it as well. I actually could read to you some anecdotal experiences for using this. So the ones that I'll be pulling from 4-HO-DIPT. So the one that Field Trip is using is 4-OH-DIPT. So there's going to be some slight differences, but generally you'll be able to glean some pretty similar things in regards to the efficacy. So this is basically you have people who are testing these psychedelic molecules, and they'll basically say, I did 20 milligrams at this time and this is what the effects yielded. So these are like some firsthand effects or experiences. So we have with 10 milligrams orally, I feel it in my legs. Within the hour, I have leg tremors. A mild physical awareness for another hour. Mentally, probably nothing. Next, 15 milligrams orally. There was an alerting, noisy, and nice in 30 minutes. That didn't make sense. I swear I'm already there. Nice, friendly place, perhaps some light tension, like a chill, maybe my body temperature response is confused. At the 2-hour point, I am substantially out of the experience. Short, intense experience, basically enjoyable. Another hour and I am back to where I started in every way. So these are people's anecdotal experiences on 4-HO-DIPT. So it's just really interesting. With 20 milligrams orally, it has a bitter taste. Early signs noted at 15 to 20 minutes, which include mild sensation of central stimulation, loosening of muscles in arms, legs, and neck, mild distortion of objects, and slight color effects. Typical rainbow halos around objects. Plateau reached in 20 minutes. Mild elation with relatively simple intellectual musings about the nature of the compound and how one could describe the nature of the state of mind and body caused by this material. 2 hours, mild effects. 2.5 hours, nearly normal. Mild but entirely pleasant experience with rather abrupt termination of effects. Could be a good candidate for psychotherapy sessions. Certainly good for novice introductions to hallucinogens. So I'm going to stop there. But basically, this is really interesting to me is because so Field Trip is working on what I'm going to guess here is going to be something pretty damn similar to 4-HO-DIPT. And we have many anecdotal reports of people using, for example, 4-HO-DIPT. Not exactly the same thing, but chemically very similar. And those were from the reports. So anyway, so I think this is really interesting for Field Trips. For what is this going to be? Reunion Neuroscience for Field Trips Drug Discovery Division, because a short acting psychedelic that it's in and out of your body in about 3 hours is significant for a clinic setting and doing it in therapeutic purposes. So like I really like where Field Trip is going with this, and I want to hear more from their trial regarding 4-OH-DIPT. And based on my own experiences with 4-HO-DIPT, it was so like at higher dosages, like anything, it can get dicey, but it is very much a psychedelic where you take it, the onset is pretty damn fast, and it's over, I want to say, like completely out of your body with the afterglow being gone as well. I want to say in total about 3.5 hours, if that. And it's just a very, very interesting psychedelic. Hey everyone, this is today's weekly extractions episode. I hope you guys have an amazing week. I hope I sound better. And yeah, stay tuned for the next episode. This is Adam. This is also Waxing Eloquence. You can find me on Reddit, on Instagram, and on Discord under that alias. I will see you guys in the next episode.